If you ignore this final call, your heart will calcify into this false version of yourself for the next 3 to 5 years. Do not scroll. I'm not speaking in metaphors. I am telling you exactly what will happen if you dismiss what I'm about to tell you. The mask you have been wearing will harden into permanent skin. The survival version will become your default identity. And you will spend the next season of your life wondering why every door feels wrong, why every opportunity misses the mark. This is your last interruption before the hardening begins. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is not algorithm. I have interrupted your night for identity surgery while you were scrolling, trying to numb the ache of not recognizing yourself. I was preparing this moment. This message found you because I sent it to find you. Your phone, your timing, your restless heart. None of it is accident. I am performing a divine interruption because your authentic self is suffocating under layers of survival and pain. You have exactly 17 minutes to decide before this window closes for years. Listen carefully. In the next 17 minutes, you will either choose to let me restore who you really are, or you will default back into the pattern that has been slowly killing your spirit. After these 17 minutes pass, your heart will begin the process of accepting this distorted version as permanent. The clock is already ticking. This interruption will not come again until you have walked through years of consequence. Right now, you are in your bed, phone glowing blue against your face, heart beating faster than normal because something feels different about this moment. The house is quiet. Maybe there is a clock ticking somewhere. Maybe there are bills on your nightstand that remind you of the stress. Maybe someone you love is sleeping next to you while you lie awake, feeling like a stranger in your own skin. I see you. I see the exhaustion in your eyes from pretending. I see how you avoid mirrors because you do not like who looks back. 3 souls were chosen to receive this message tonight. 2 have already scrolled past, choosing to stay comfortable in their false identity rather than face the surgery required for restoration. They chose the familiar prison over the painful freedom. You are the last one. You are my final attempt to reach someone tonight before I close this particular door of grace. The other 2 will spend the next several years wondering what that feeling was, why that moment felt so heavy, why they feel like they missed something important. Do not become the 3rd. I see how tired you are of wearing masks. You wake up every morning and put on the version of yourself that can survive the day. The version that smiles when it needs to. The version that says, "I'm fine," when people ask. The version that performs competence when inside you feel like you are falling apart. This survival version has become so automatic that you barely remember what it feels like to be authentic. But I remember. And the exhaustion you feel is not from living. It is from lying. You cannot look at yourself anymore without feeling disgust. Every time you pass a mirror, you see someone you do not recognize. Not just physically, but spiritually. You see someone who is compromised, someone who is settled, someone who has let fear make the decisions. The self-blame cycles through your mind on repeat. Why did I let this happen? Why am I not stronger? Why can I not get my life together? You have become your own worst critic because you sense the distance between who you are and who you were created to be. You are terrified you have missed your season. Late at night, this fear grips you that the window for real change has closed, that everyone else figured out how to be authentic while you were busy surviving, that God has moved on from his original plan for your life because you took too long to respond. You look at other people living boldly and wonder if that option was ever really available to you, or if you were always meant to live in the shadow version. You have let pain define you instead of letting destiny define you. Every failure, every betrayal, every time someone walked away, you absorbed it as evidence of who you are rather than what you experienced. The pain became your identity. The wounds became your name. And now when I call to you by your real name, you barely recognize the sound. You have been introducing yourself by your scars instead of your calling. Your soul is exhausted from fighting to be someone else. The energy it takes to maintain a false version of yourself is draining you spiritually. You feel tired in ways that sleep cannot fix. You feel empty in ways that entertainment cannot fill. You feel lost in ways that GPS cannot solve. This is what happens when you spend years being someone other than who I created you to be. Your spirit knows, and your spirit is tired of pretending. The enemy's plan was to lock you in this distorted identity permanently. Every lie you have believed about yourself, every compromise that seemed necessary for survival, every time you looked in the mirror and felt shame, this was orchestrated. The strategy was simple. If he could get you to accept the false version as the real you, you would never reach for your authentic destiny. You would live and die as someone you were never meant to be. The distortion was never meant to be temporary. It was meant to be your new normal. Your file is open in heaven right now. At this very moment, there is a spiritual review happening concerning your life. Angels are watching. The enemy is arguing his case that you have forfeited your right to authentic identity through compromise and delay. He is presenting evidence. Your patterns, your choices, your seasons of hiding. But I'm overruling his petition. I am declaring that this is not over. This is not your final verdict. This is your moment of appeal. I will not let you slip into another season of identity confusion. Enough seasons have been lost to the false version. Enough years have been sacrificed to survival mode. Enough opportunities have been missed because you were operating from a distorted center. I am drawing a line in the sand of time and declaring, this is where the confusion ends. This is where the masquerade stops. This is where you remember who you really are. No more lost seasons. This is divine intervention before the hardening process completes itself. Hearts that live in false identity for too long develop spiritual calluses. They stop hearing their real name when it is called. They stop recognizing authentic opportunity when it appears. They settle into the smaller story and convince themselves it was always the only option. Tonight, I am intervening before that callousing becomes irreversible. The battle for your authentic identity reaches its climax tonight. Every force that has tried to keep you small, every voice that has convinced you to settle, every fear that has made you hide, they are all gathered for this final push to keep you in the false version. But heaven is pushing back. This moment, this message, this interruption, this is the climax of a battle that has been raging over your identity for years. I will remove what has distorted you and restore your authentic core. Every layer of compromise, every mask you have worn for survival, every false belief about who you are, I will strip it away. I will peel back the years of accumulated pain and disappointment until I reach the person I originally created. The confident, clear, purposeful version of yourself that existed before life taught you to hide. This is not self-improvement. This is resurrection. The real you has been buried under survival strategies, but the real you is not dead. In exchange for immediate response, I require specific obedience in the next 48 hours. This is not a casual offer. This is a covenant with conditions. I'm not asking for eventual change or gradual improvement. I'm requiring immediate, specific actions that signal your full surrender of the false identity. You will do exactly what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, how I tell you to do it. Half-hearted response will yield half-hearted results. Full obedience will yield full restoration. I will restore your spiritual confidence, your clarity, and open doors that align perfectly with your authentic self. You will walk with the assurance of someone who knows exactly who they are. The confusion will lift. The self-doubt will dissolve. You will make decisions from clarity instead of fear. And I will open opportunities that your false self could never access. Doors that require the real you to walk through them. Assignments that can only be fulfilled by your authentic identity. The life you always sensed was possible will become available. This window has an expiration date and will not reopen if you miss it. I am not offering you unlimited time to decide. This specific grace, this particular intervention, this exact doorway, it has a deadline. After 48 hours, your heart will begin to reset to its previous pattern. You will not get another interruption like this for years. Miss this window, and you will spend the next season convincing yourself that the false version is acceptable. The terms are clear. Full surrender of the false self for complete authentic identity emergence. You cannot keep 1 foot in the old life and 1 foot in the new identity. You cannot hold on to the survival version just in case the real you does not work out. You cannot negotiate a partial contract. All of the false self dies tonight. All of the real self comes alive tomorrow. This is an all-or-nothing covenant. Choose which version of yourself you want to live as permanently. For the next 7 days, you will wake up at exactly 6 a.m. and pray this prayer. God, I surrender the false version of myself that I created for survival. I choose to live as the authentic person you designed me to be. Show me who that is today. Do not negotiate with the alarm clock. Do not say you are not a morning person. Do not make excuses. 6 a.m., 7 days. This prayer, this is your first act of choosing the real you over the survival you. You will identify and remove the one toxic pattern that most reinforces your false identity. Maybe it is the social media that feeds comparison. Maybe it is the relationship that requires you to be smaller than you are. Maybe it is the job that demands you compromise your values. Maybe it is the habit of negative self-talk that plays on repeat. Choose one. Remove it completely, not gradually, not eventually. Now, your false identity has been fed by specific patterns. Starve it. You will call the person you have been avoiding because of shame and have one completely honest conversation. You know who this is. The person you've been hiding from because they knew the old you, the real you, before you learned to perform. The person whose opinion matters so much that you have been afraid to let them see your current struggle. Call them, tell them the truth. Let them see behind the mask. Authenticity requires witnesses. You will write down your authentic identity declaration and read it aloud every morning after your 6 a.m. prayer. Write, I am your name, chosen and designed by God for a specific purpose that only the real me can fulfill. I refuse to live as a smaller version. I choose to walk in the confidence of my true identity. Sign it, date it, read it every day until it becomes more familiar than the lies. Your mouth must speak your real name until your heart believes it again. You will stop feeding yourself content that promotes comparison and self-doubt. No more scrolling through highlight reels that make you feel inadequate. No more consuming media that celebrates the very patterns you're trying to break. No more allowing voices into your mind that reinforce the false identity. Your authentic self requires a clean mental diet. Protect what goes into your mind as carefully as you protect what goes into your body. Sarah received a similar message at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday night in March. She was lying in bed, scrolling through her phone, feeling exactly like you feel right now. Exhausted from wearing masks, tired of not recognizing herself. When she heard me say, "This is not random," something inside her broke open. She chose to obey immediately. By Friday, people were asking her what had changed. By the following Tuesday, she was walking in confidence she had not felt in years. Marcus had lived in false identity for 5 years. 5 years of compromise. 5 years of survival mode. 5 years of convincing himself that the smaller version was all he could handle. Then one night, he received prophetic instructions just like yours. He woke up at 6 a.m. for 7 days. He removed the toxic pattern. He made the phone call. Within 2 weeks, the life he had always sensed was possible began to unfold before him. New doors opened that perfectly matched their authentic selves. Sarah got offered the position that required her real gifts, not her survival skills. Marcus connected with a community that celebrated his true personality, not the performed version. Both found opportunities that their false selves could never have accessed. The real you attracts what belongs to the real you. The difference between immediate response and delayed response is years. Those who obey immediately walk into transformation within days. Those who delay, who negotiate, who wait for a more convenient time, they repeat the same patterns for years. Sarah and Marcus chose the discomfort of immediate change over the agony of permanent mediocrity. Tonight, you have the same choice. You have exactly 48 hours before your heart begins the callousing process. Listen to me carefully. After 48 hours pass, your spiritual sensitivity to this kind of intervention will begin to fade. Your heart will start to accept the false version as normal again. The urgency you feel right now will dissolve into a distant memory. This is not a threat. This is spiritual biology. Hearts that reject divine interruption become progressively harder to reach. You must begin the 6 a.m. prayers tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Tomorrow. You must identify and remove that toxic pattern by Thursday. You must make that phone call to the person you have been avoiding by Friday. You must write your authentic identity declaration tonight before you sleep. These are not suggestions. These are the specific actions that will signal your choice to live authentically. Right now, as an act of covenant, type "restored" in the comments. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about making a public declaration that you choose your authentic identity over your survival identity. When you type "restored," you are telling heaven that you accept the covenant terms. Then share this message with exactly 3 people. Someone who is crying tonight, someone who is about to make a decision from fear, and someone who thinks I have forgotten them. These are acts of spiritual obedience, not social media engagement. I am giving you 30 seconds to decide while your heart is still soft. 30, 29, 28. Will you type "restored"? Will you share this message? Will you commit to waking up at 6 a.m. tomorrow? 20, 19, 18. Your heart is still responsive right now. Your spirit is still stirred. But this sensitivity will not last forever. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Choose now. If you ignore this now, you will spend the next 3 to 5 years convincing yourself that the false version is acceptable. You will wake up in 2027 or 2028 still wearing the same masks, still feeling the same exhaustion, still avoiding mirrors, still wondering why your life feels like it belongs to someone else. And you will remember this night. You will remember this exact moment when I offered you complete restoration of your authentic identity. Do not become someone who lives with that regret. For those who have chosen, for those who typed "restored," for those who committed to the 6 a.m. wake-up call, I now seal this covenant between us. You have crossed a line tonight. You have said yes to your authentic self and no to the survival version. This choice is recorded in heaven. This moment is marked in time. What you have chosen, I also choose. What you have decided, I also seal. The agreement is signed in spiritual blood. I speak over your authentic identity. Emerge. I speak over your confidence. Be restored. I speak over your clarity. Return. I speak over doors that align with your true self. Open. I speak over opportunities that require the real you. Appear. I command the confusion to lift and the certainty to settle. I command the false layers to peel away and the authentic core to shine through. In 7 days, people will ask you what changed. In 14 days, you will barely recognize the person you were tonight. I pronounce an end to the false version and declare the beginning of the true self era. The survival version dies tonight. The performed identity expires at midnight. The masks are removed permanently. From this moment forward, you live as the authentic person I created you to be. No more hiding, No more shrinking. No more apologizing for taking up space. The real you has been resurrected. This is the night everything shifted in your favor. Years from now, you will look back at tonight as the moment your real life began. This message, this choice, this covenant, it becomes the dividing line between who you were and who you became. December 28th, 2025. The night you chose authenticity over survival. The night you remembered your real name.